For it is by grace you have been saved. What a powerful verse in Ephesians. I'm Steve Grossman, and I want to talk about this verse today because, well, grace is really needed, but I see that grace is rarely given. What's up with that? So often in my counseling practice, I work with people that have made mistakes, right? They've messed up and they've done some things wrong for any number of reasons, which is for another time. But what I notice happening again and again is there are two groups of people around them. One is the people that embrace them and walk with them through whatever's going on. And then there's the group that backs away. And unfortunately, most of the people are in the camp that backs away. And it's really gotten me to thinking about what is going on there. And in a conversation with a client the other day, I really had what I felt like was a revelation. But I want to go back to this verse first, and it's in Ephesians 2. It's 8 and 9. Here's the full verse. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. So what is grace? Grace is a gift that we give, that God gives, and we can both do it. And from God, it's a thing that motivates him and empowers him to give mercy and love and forgiveness. But it also has an empowerment side to it. Mercy is kind of the why behind giving grace. And grace extends the forgiveness and actually makes it function by faith. It's a pretty heady concept, but just take it at that. And so in the Old Testament, grace in the Hebrew language, it's a picture language, and it means a wide open field where it's safe to fall down. That's a great description of grace also. It's like, it's okay, I'm giving you grace for, yeah, you messed up. Let's get back on the horse. Let's keep going, okay? So back to my point. Why do people struggle to give grace? And I think it's all too easy to just say kind of cheap answers. You know, they don't know any better. They're mean. They're unforgiving. They're blah, 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 blah. But I think there's something else going on under the covers. And I think it's simply this. We all know we've fallen short. We all know we have mistakes. We all know we have, as a songwriter friend of mine used to call it, dark corners where we don't want anyone to know what's going on there. And I'm not okaying that, but I'm just pointing out part of the human condition is we have these areas of struggles, these areas that we haven't quite nailed yet. And we don't want anyone to know about them. And one of the ways that we deal with not wanting anyone to know about them is we kind of pretend they're not there. It's very subconscious. But what happens when Joe or Sally at the church fall, there's like a spotlight shined on, bad areas. And all of us that have these, or a lot of us that have these, we scatter because we don't want ours to be found out. And so, we all use this term of, there, but for the grace of God go I. And we believe that, but we don't really believe that. And here's why. We don't believe we're good enough for God's grace. So when we see people fall, it shines a light on us that we're not good enough and we're going to be found out. So we run instead of realizing what this verse really says in a very practical way. What does the verse say? It says, let me find it again. Sorry. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves, not by works. That means that none of us have grace because of doing good or doing bad. We just have grace. God has said, here. And so the reaction we're supposed to have, and that we can have because we're saved by grace, not because we're doing great, is that we can freely give grace to all those around us, not even in the attitude of, well, there go but I'm a sinner too. No, we're saved sinners. We're redeemed sinners. We're those walking in grace. And so this is a very practical thing that, quite frankly, we've got to get better at. Because the other part of this is we need to walk in believing that we have this grace. And that's really what this shines a light on, is that most of us don't really believe that. We don't believe we're saved by grace. We're still trying to earn it. But we can't. We weren't able to at first. We're not able to now. We're not going to be able to in the future, nor can anyone else around us. So we can extend grace because we are walking in grace by faith. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this allows you to, first of all, feel supported by the Lord in yourself. Feel supported by those around you that do walk this out well, but also become one of those that walks this out well. Because we're all in this together, and we're all working towards getting better and better. And we need each other. We need you. All right? Hope this helps. Thanks.